go ahead and change the title as well. This is University of Toronto. And University of Minnesota. And let's see what we've got here, because we're joining the in-process match. I have to get a feel for what's going on here. It looks like we're going to see a quick kill onto OD. 25 to 10 here at 21 minutes. As we do get into it, looks like might have been a little bit of a, you know, slam picks gone wrong for UMN with the Wind Ranger, with the OD. Falling quite behind in the net worth. Now, University of Toronto definitely can do this to teams. Talking with Hunter, the conclusion of that last series, Toronto, one of the teams to beat in this league. Though I say that about a lot of the teams, but there is just quite a number of high-quality teams throughout the league. But Toronto in this game so far showing why they do get characterized as one of those teams, because 3 cores, top of the net worth, 15k in the net worth lead department, 21 minutes in.
Bounty to restore the void within.
Just going to send off a quick message to get into the lobby, game number 2.
Fall before us.
Sorry, not paying the most attention to the game at the moment, because we have to set up for game 2 so that they don't start without me and make it a whole scene. But it looks like University of Toronto, very strong start here, and looking to close things out pretty securely. Unfortunately, didn't get to see the more interesting part of this game, but we're going to get to watch University of Toronto demonstrate the winning technique, as going to look to take the disciplined approach, have the Aegis up for another, looks like a minute 15, so I'm going to hold on to this Aegis, knock down the tier 2 tower, maybe look to take this Tormentor as well. This will be pinged out, so clear out the wave, and we'll go ahead and grab the Tormentor. Did see the mid tier 1 get grabbed by Fredberg. You know, I think this is actually the first Toronto game we're doing this season. For some reason that sounds familiar to me, but I did a lot of games. I have like short-term memory loss when it comes to casting games sometimes. Jumping on the backside. Holy moly, gonna take him down. Ends up being Void Spear, claims the kill. Another 27 seconds on the Aegis, so Largen in charge up on the high ground. Just wants to make sure he'll be able to escape with that one. Either die or get out and let the regen kick in. Looks like otherwise we have pretty standard build-ups. Ursa, Battle Fury, Blink, BKB, and Vlad's pick up into the Blink for the Mars. Kind of interested looking on the other side of the river where things maybe went wrong. Wind got over to the Maelstrom, but struggling to pick up the BKB. We see a couple bracers in the Wind inventory, and Wraithband did get a pretty substantial nerf, so Wind kind of indirectly gets hit hard by the Wraithband nerf, because Wind probably was the #1 hero that was abusing Wraithbands. You could go a Wraithband, a Bracer, you could go 2 Wraithbands, depending on if you needed the extra armor, depending on where you were at. And red, yeah, Midas on the OD, and since they're just getting rolled, you know, not able to take advantage of the early strength of OD, and now that they're so behind, he's just not able to find the clicks, I suppose, is where this game has gone. Expanded to an 18k net worth lead since we joined. As Toronto even picked up a Midas on the supports, picked up a Midas on the Enchantress. As for me, at least, yeah, a couple of unfamiliar faces
Radiant are
on the Toronto side. Maybe not totally unfamiliar, but some names that I'm not used to seeing, names I'm not used to saying casting Toronto. And I know last season I did cast a lot of the Toronto matches, but splitting into a pair of rosters means that you get to see players and lineups that we didn't get to see paired together before. Holy moly, able to find the arena over to the side. Grab a nice kill for themselves. For Minnesota, trying to do what they can, trying to find space on the back end. Fredberg bashing away into the tier 2 tower. Not going to be able to BKB TP, or will he? No. Ursa with another overpower. Plenty of damage comes through. The rest of the Toronto side still pinning University of Minnesota into the base.
Radiant are scanning.
Looking for the grab here. Yoman. Probably the best opportunity they may have had to find a kill, but unfortunately, not enough in the tank for him, so forced to back their way out, back up to the high ground. 21k net worth lead as 30-10. Toronto versus University of Minnesota. It's 27-minute runes. Excuse me, 27 minutes comes up. The next neutral items gonna be spawning in tier 3s. What I was going for there is Roshan gonna spawn in 30 seconds. Wasn't available. Looked like it was showing that it was available in the icon. Believe that was a replay bug from joining this one in process. If you're just joining, if you're just tuning in, we are watching University of Toronto versus UMN. USF versus Brown did end 2-0 for USF. Game 1 not super competitive, and game number 2 was, well, it was a brawl. I mean, it was a pretty great game. Brown punching back, but eventually USF were able to take that one. So nice cap off USF remaining undefeated on the season, and Toronto,
so much more.
Another team that's looking to stay undefeated on the season. This is going to be their second match, not their third this season, but still going to be a good one. So far this season, University of Toronto boundless. I guess I should clarify a little bit more often. So Toronto with one team in the East Division, with one team in the West Division. This being the East Division team playing against UMN. But the East Division team, 2-0. More kills in the mid. But 2-0 off one series. This their second series, and looks like they're going to be taking game number 1 in pretty convincing fashion. If you're looking for the USF versus Brown series, there will be the VOD available at the conclusion of this matchup, so hold tight. Be getting that to you in a couple of hours at this point, but maybe less depending on how game number 1 finishes out and game number 2 and potentially game number 3 in this U of T versus UMN series proceeds. Another catch on the bot side. Toronto not in any real rush to end this game. If they were, they'd be paying a little bit more attention to Roshan, but pretty content to just farm up some kills. (32-10) here as we approach the 30-minute mark. Leechy King, 10-0-14. Pretty nice stat line for the University of Toronto position 5. Just gonna cycle through all the heroes here, get a quick check-in on item progressions in case we missed anyone.
Bounty.
But just a quick check-in because we did join this one late, so all part of the process, getting a feel for the game. 30-minute spawns, Roshan moves down to the bot side. It's the daytime, and Ursa gonna maneuver his way over here. Mea culpa. Gonna jump down here. Roshan gonna be free for the taking. Has the enrage if he needs it as well. Judge making his way down, but definitely not interested in contesting here. Fredberg. Hiding out for now. Gonna be caught. Taken down.
Haste.
This game, all but over. Just waiting for the G's to be called, waiting for the official call to come through. 34 to 10, 30k in the net worth lead department, Toronto. Definitely not going anywhere. And the hesitation to go up towards the high ground, very understandable. I mean, Toronto just do not have a building-taking team. Between Ursa, Void, and the Mars, no one really able to hit the buildings. Are always playing against Odie, and when you're up 31,000 in the gold department, 1 or 2 kills can provide, 5,000 plus net worth swing. Finally, the blink onto the backside, Ursa underneath the tier 4s. There's no real danger here. Tier 3 under some heavy fire and will go down.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Looking to see if they can't snatch 1 kill. UMN gonna jump forward with the Omni Slash. Fredberg looking for the damage, but not gonna find it. The Shackle's gonna come across, but not to Mea culpa. That's the big Ursa with the Aegis, and on the backside, Big Fat B gonna claim the supports and gonna claim the game on the front. Mea culpa able to jump back in, fine on the Fredberg. Will go down, and that I expect the G's to be called, though.
Dire's middle barracks.
UMN perhaps holding out even further.
Dire's
Jump forward onto the backside, Hoodwink. Gonna go down, 5 heroes dead, tier 4s. Gonna be bashed down.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
GG will be called.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant
Game 1 just going down. Looks like I might have to be quick to the lobby, so gonna go ahead and transition. Sorry about the coming up next. That's gonna be inaccurate, but just need to get the quick transition over to the lobby. See if they're not going already. I didn't see the game being active. UMN versus University of Toronto. Oh, my game client is out of date. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna have maybe a little bit more of a break. So I'm gonna toss it over to just a quick break screen. Be back in just a couple of minutes actually with the draft for game number 2. Toronto taking a nice game number 1, joined that one late, and joined that one after it was pretty much over. So we'll see you in just a couple of minutes with the draft for game number 2, University of Toronto versus University of Minnesota.
Got drunk off your lie, and I lost myself again. You hit just like a drug. This time I won't let you in. You're playing with fire. No, I didn't I'm the prey, but this time I won't collapse like I did yesterday. You broke my heart once again. I won't buy the dust in return. I can't give it, I can't give it, I won't give in this time. You broke my heart once again. Well, you're bad, but you're bad it for me. I can't give it, I can't give in. I've already run with the wolves, far from the light of the day. I can't go back to you, I'm stronger today. Been to the dark side, I don't know. So if you wanna shoot far away, I won't go back to you. I'm stronger, I'm stronger, I'm stronger today. I'm stronger today. Tú tienes la pócima para enloquecerme, pero voy a draw the line. Que yo ya sé que es de ti. I got to stay away, got to stay away. Sé que como un trofeo quieres tenerme, pero I don't need no one. Que yo ya sé que es de ti. I got to stay away, got to stay away. No, 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 baby, no, 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 no setbacks. No, 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 baby, no, 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 this time. You broke my heart once again. I won't buy the dust in return. I can't give it, I can't give it, I won't give in this time. You broke my heart once again. Well, you're bad, but you're bad it for me. I can't give it, I can't give in. I've already run with the wolves, far from the light of the day. I can't go back to you, I'm stronger today. Been to the dark side, I don't know. So if you wanna shoot far away, I won't go back to you. I'm stronger, I'm stronger, I'm stronger today. I'm stronger today.
There you were on the other side of the room. Place was filled, but all I could see was you. You're magnetic, captivating, and you know it's true. Sent a smile and you started to make your way through. The crowd, it grew so loud. You and I didn't even care. I never wanna get used to the sound you whispering in my ear. I've loved you since I met you. Did I ever tell you that? I tried to push you out, you pull in. I fell hard so fast. There you were on the other side of the room. Place was filled, but all I could see was you. You're magnetic, captivating, and you know it's true. Sent a smile and you started to make your way through. The crowd, it
Hello and welcome back to some bonus NACE coverage. We got the draft coming up, University of Toronto versus UMN. This is game number 2, University of Toronto. If you're just tuning in, did take game number 1 in pretty convincing fashion. Did jump into that game about 20 minutes after its start time, so didn't get to see how that game progressed. By the time we had joined, University of Toronto had something of a 15,000 gold lead in their pockets, excuse me, and were able to grind down UMN with, you know, little to no threat to their game whatsoever. So they're going to try and do the same here in game number 2. UMN, of course, going to try and shake things up a little bit, and that starts with the first pick Pudge coming out. It's always an exciting hero when you do see the Pudge come through, and UMN, they're going to try and use it to inspire some life into their roster. UMN is 0-1 here on the season. Did lose both of their week number 1 games. Actually, give me a moment. I can dig some more details about that one. I'm coming in a little bit unprepared to this series, but lost that one 2-0 to Brown. I actually believe that we covered that series 2-0 to Brown in their week 2 matchup. They did have the bye, so this one being their 3rd week set, and I think it's actually kind of vice versa. I think technically this is a week 2 game. Yeah, this is a week 2 game rescheduled for now. And they had the week 3 bye, and then Toronto playing today, or playing tonight. They also do have a matchup tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So Friday afternoon at 2:30. Not going to be able to cover that one, fortunately. Be working, but do make sure you check that one out in game. Do make sure you check that out if any of the University of Toronto guys do stream or do a player POV or anything of the sort. I'd be surprised if Toronto has any dedicated casting like Michigan, because they did split up into 2 teams, so I think that would be relatively hard to balance, but maybe I can do a quick search and see if any of them aren't on Twitch right now. Looks like maybe not. I only know a couple of them that would go by their in-game Dota names, so looks like no one I can find, at least off the bat, live for University of Toronto at the moment. Still, do make sure to check out that game tomorrow live in the client. You can search through the NACE ticket for those games, so make sure you're following along, or if you just want to chase the scoreboard, make sure to check out the results of that one. Probably go through some of the results, not the highlights, but just some results next time I do have a cast coming for you. Into this draft a little bit. UMN, after that first pick Pudge, go for the Lich Weaver. And University of Toronto coming in with the Skywrath. Skywrath going to be a very strong pickup both against Weaver and against the Pudge. Lots of magic damage to throw in against the Weaver in addition to the Silence, and could always silence the Pudge with the Rod-On. Definitely not the Death Sentence that it once was. But Silence, pretty annoying to deal with this Pudge as well. If you're going core Pudge, you don't really want to build into a Lotus, and you will get the BKB eventually. I mean, obviously it's pretty core. You go some kind of like Blink Ags BKB or something similar, but earlier on, Sky can be a pretty big nuisance to Pudge and the Weaver. Faceless Void going to be picked up as well, so it's going to be who was actually carrying for them last game. That was who was playing Ursa. I'm just remembering all the names now. We'll see it once it comes up into the game. Like I was saying in game number 1, if you just tuned in. Now, University of Toronto did split their roster after last season into 2. One of them is in the East Division, one of them in the West Division. So, getting to see a couple of new faces on the University of Toronto Boundless side that we're not used to seeing, as some of the more familiar names did migrate over to that West Coast Division roster. And it seems to me like this roster split was pretty much even. They took, you know, their original roster and kind of split it in half.
5 seconds remaining.
And then filled from there. So maybe we'll get some insight at some point in the season about what the, you know, cause for that was and how exactly that went down as well. Staying focused on the draft here, the Lina pickup gonna be pretty nice, and you're able to find hits into the Chronosphere. If Chronos not dropped onto Lina, can have some problems as the Faceless Void. Faceless did also get a little bit of a nerf in patch 7.35c. Lost the talent was the main problem that Void's facing now, so less attack speed in Chronosphere. You lost a little bit of bash damage, I believe. And those things, like, the talents, whenever the talents get nerfed, sometimes you go, it's just a talent, who really cares? Well, on Faceless Void, the attack speed in Chrono talent, very significant to getting kills inside of the Chrono when you're not really pumping damage in from the outside, and, well, you do have Skywrath to put damage in from the outside. This draft is shaping up to be Toronto looking for Void to find a Chrono and to kill off 1 to 2 heroes inside of the Chrono, and he's just going to be working with less damage than he would have had, you know, 2 days ago pre-patch. So always an interesting thing there, and we were talking with Hunter CJR from USF after their match about, you know, whether they actually had looked at the patch pre-game, whether they had, you know, theory crafted, played some games, like what had they done? And they actually talked to their coach. USF coach is DNM, for those just tuning in. I think that's really, really cool. North America pro, or I don't know whether to call him ex-pro streamer. I think he's got to be looking for a team. He's kind of hovering that pro line in North America. Very high-ranked player, very nice guy, from what it seems. And I don't know him personally, but puts out some great Position 1 content. So if you are an aspiring Position 1 player, you want to learn some stuff, go check him out. Hunter had only good things to say as well. But they talked to the coach, you know, whatever. Some of these NACE teams, I mean, it's been about 24 hours since the patch went live on the servers. You may have just had time to read it quickly and forget all the changes. You may have had time to theory craft a little bit. Depends on what kind of player you are. So, you know, sometimes the first to adapt to the meta are the ones who can find an advantage. And sometimes, you know, going with what worked in the past, it will continue to work. And I don't want to make too many decisive statements because I haven't actually seen any numbers coming out of this patch, coming out of the first day, what players are, you know, experimenting with and what's working out. So, UMN go with the Abaddon in that last pickup. It's going to be pretty nice to deal with the Faceless Void. And I'm kind of interested how they're going to shake their lanes out. They have a couple of options here. You could go, you know, Pudge support. I really don't think you want a Pudge support, but against the Chronosphere it is possible. You use to hook out of the Chronosphere, you get the Dismember Shards, save people from the Skywrath Silence potentially. You know, whatever. They could go for this Weaver support idea as well. Kind of similar with the save idea. I think you start to lack damage if you do go that route. You need Abaddon carry, Pudge 3, Weaver 4, you know, Weaver 5.
You may now select your heroes.
Toronto with the Darkseer. So maybe sensing a little bit of this confusion in the draft. I don't know, this... I don't want to call it a lack of cohesion because I don't think it is, but it's just interesting to me how this draft is shaken out. And the Darkseer, it's going to be pretty good. I mean, there's not too many great Steal and Illusion of you heroes, but it's going to be very stable in the off lane. It's going to build into all the auras that they want, and with items like the Shivas getting nerfed off, I think that, and the Vlads actually, I think that the off lane has opened back up to some of these traditional aura carriers that aren't just going for the Mage Slayer, aren't going like Mage Slayer Shivas +1 or Mage Slayer Vlads +1, so maybe going to be looking for the Greaves on the Darkseer, maybe going to be going for something else, we'll see. It's a hero that I don't see too much of nowadays. That was Mea Culpa on the Position 1 for University of Toronto, that's what it is. Totally just spaced on that name, unfortunately. Yeah, it is going to be a Position 1 Weaver for UMN. Looks like the Lina headed to the mid lane and Abaddon in the 3 with supports Pudge and Lich. So it's an interesting support. I mean, maybe it's just me being jaded, coming from playing a lot of pubs, coming from being a carry player, you know, whatever. I have nightmares of support Pudge in my pubs, you know, let alone in my officials. So I think this is, you know, kind of an interesting idea, and not sure whose idea it would then pick up the Pudge. But we are into the game. Hop on over there. So Pudge with the Blood Grenade, putting an end to any thoughts about whether it would be doing anything, as we see the supports body blocking each other. Gotta keep it light, gotta keep it fun. So we get ready to kick off this game number 2, Toronto versus University of Minnesota. Toronto Boundless versus UMN. Gonna try and keep calling them Boundless, but we'll probably fail. The one unfortunate thing with the University of Toronto split-ups is we won't actually get to see a match between the two rosters unless they make it to the finals of the playoffs. Just the way that the rosters did get split, one in the East Division, one in the West Division, of course. The divisions play a game against every team in their respective division. That's 8 matches. And then the top 4 from each side do make the playoffs or into a round of 8. I guess technically they wouldn't have to make the finals, but it would be in the playoffs regardless. Hook coming across the mark. Lich in a lot of trouble though. Looks like Lich will be run down first, potentially the Wind falling low, and first blood. Oh, it's gonna come through onto Lich. A little bit of hold up there. Fredberg throwing the attack a little bit late, trying to make sure secured the kill for himself. Didn't end up getting the kill and didn't end up getting the first blood either. And now Fredberg took a few extra clicks. That level 1 Shikuchi, never fun to need to use as the damage and as the escape.
Arms for the dead.
Things will settle themselves down. And look at this. Wasn't sure if they were actually doing this or just going to swap up the lanes a little bit, but it's going to be the Darkseer in the mid against Lina. This sounds like an absolutely horrendous matchup to me, by the way. Red should have an absolute dream of a time in this mid lane. Lina able to outrange most ranged heroes in the mid lane, but against the Darkseer, I mean, sure, you get some lane pressure, you get the creeps to push in on Darkseer, but Dragon Slave max should be more than enough for Red to, you know, push out the lane if it pushes in underneath the tower, and Darkseer are going to eat a ton of harass in this lane. We're going to have to continue to check back in there. So take a look at how the early goings of our side lanes are starting out up top. Looks like UMN with the early level 2s were able to put a good amount of pressure onto the University of Toronto side. And our position 4 Pudge with the Abaddon lane. Level 1 hook. Gonna need to see a lot of impact to justify this pickup for me. It was a first pick Pudge. So there is ideas of, you know, flexing it. There's ideas of whatever. I do think it's just the jaded side of me talking, but I want to see a lot of impact here to make this Pudge pick worthwhile. Because I do think as you get later in the game, I mean, Pudge can maybe work towards a blink, but just don't accomplish as much as you want out of your position 4, unless you're able to hit hooks throughout the early mid game. Up top, Lich starting to fall low. Holy moly, level 2 with the skewer. Takes him behind the tower and takes him out back. Gonna be able to drag the wave as well over to the side. Grabs the wave up underneath the tower down bottom as well, looking for the kill into the Lychee King. They able to grab that with the Aphotic Shield pop damage. Tower providing the requisite damage to Abaddon to pop off the shield. 2-2, 3 minutes in. Still, lane's going alright for Toronto, and surprisingly well in the mid lane. 20 CS for the Darkseer, and no denies. We saw the kill up top. On to the Windrunner. Did go down in the meantime. But 21 for 2 versus 18 for 0. I'm shocked that there's no denies coming out of the mid. I know Darkseer has pretty decent right-click damage, but maybe there's something nuanced about the matchup that I'm not getting, or maybe just having a nice day in the mid. But a couple of kills down bottom. Lychee King grabbing both of them, taking advantage of the death of Windranger in the top, did TP down bottom and netted themselves the pair as we continued talking about the mid. I think Big Fat B just having an absolute dream of a game on Darkseer, though. I think he's just pressing the limits of this hero and doing a good job to get the farm that he has. Go check in up top, and even Weaver starting to fall behind in CS a little bit.
I honed in on you.
So still early going, but 4 minutes in. Toronto's starting to pull ahead in terms of lane. Take a look down bottom. Looks like Pandemonium able to snatch up a courier. Got to keep our eyes on the side lanes as pressure being applied on both sides. Mid has devolved to a farm fest at this point. Darkseer pushing out the lane and Lina able to force it back. And wow, 0-3-2 build up for Darkseer, so no points in the vacuum either. Kind of surprising there, Pandemonium, another courier snatch. This time though, gonna be run down by the mid Darkseer. Did make the rotation down bottom with the surge. Like I said, kind of surprising to make this rotation with no points in the vacuum. Saw a trade out in the top lane in the meantime as well, but our eyes were focused on the mid laner. Making the rotation down bottom. That was a level 5 rotation, by the way. But had pushed out the lane prior. Starting to eat some clicks. Laguna Blade is available for red, by the way, so Big Fat B need to be a little bit careful with how he plays this lane. Setting up for the 6-minute power rune surge, going to be dumped out, but going to miss the 50-50 on the Darkseer. Instead, red going to grab an illusion rune for his trouble. Going to make his way straight down to the bot lane as well, so going to make the same rotation Darkseer did just about a minute ago. It's a dire ward up on the high ground, not a radiant. Hook gonna be off the mark, and red rotation's gonna whip. Did send the illusion back to mid, but once Darkseer is able to tell that it was an illusion, just gonna force the rotation away, and Big Fat B gonna make his way down here himself. Now with Lina going home, back to the mid lane. Big Fat B in position to make the rotation. Gonna drop the wall down. It's gonna catch both of these dire heroes, but again, no vacuum. It's a little bit awkward. Big Fat B trying to run him down, but tanking up the tower. Mea Culpa finds the bashful, hooked underneath the tower. Time walk, dodge some of the damage. Tower shots coming through, but not gonna be enough, and can't run through that wall. Meanwhile, up top, another kill going their way is Holy Moly able to take down Fredberg with the supports TPing away to help down that bottom engagement.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's 3 of the top 4 heroes in terms of the net worth for University of Toronto.
Structures are fortified.
Playing well in this game, make that 3 of the top 3 as red just barely edged out. Looking for the setup, looking for the Laguna Blade, and one more right click, it's going to be off the mark. The evasion coming through for the Windrunner. Not even going to be able to find the kill on red, breeding out underneath the tower, and Big Fat B able to take him down. So 9-4 here, 8 minutes into the game. Going to be a freebie on the power rune as well for Big Fat B. Lost the 50-50 again, funny enough. But not going to matter. Holy moly. Looking for a kill, looking to find Lich. RP gonna be committed on top as well. Skewer him back down to the low ground, holy moly. We'll take that kill. RP gonna be committed, but more than happy to use it this early into the game, 8.5 minutes. Take a look down bottom, this Chronosphere was acquired. They still just level 5, so Mea Culpa potentially looking for the go before the level 6 comes out on about, and instead the TP into the mid lane. Trying to set up onto red. Red gonna have the Laguna Blade to work with in 6 seconds. Ion Shell was placed onto Mea Culpa. The jump forward, the Chronosphere, it's going to be committed. Now the Bash is going to start to work away with the rotation from Wind Ranger coming in as well, the Vacuum. Going to spell the doom of red. Will find the hook. Pulls Wind Ranger back underneath the tower, but the evasion comes through. Not going to find the kill. This time for UMN as Pandemonium goes down as the secondary target. Big Fat B on the Shield Rune as well, ready to tank up the tower. Sorry, not the Shield Rune, just the safety bubble. 12-4 here, 5,000 gold lead for University of Toronto, and this game looking pretty out of control. I know it's early and it's hard to call a game super early, but there is a mountain to climb for University of Minnesota already, and it's always rough, especially after coming from game number 1 where you did get beat down pretty good. Things start to look the same way game number 2, and it starts to drain on you mentally. There's not much they can do about it either, Fredberg. Until you get the Maelstrom not ready to go for the jungle. Same deal for Day with the Orb of Corrosion buildup. Gonna be stuck in this lane forever, so University of Toronto always gonna have opportunities to gank the lanes. Always gonna have the opportunity to get involved as well. It's gonna be up to these UMN supports to try and find a move, try and find the overextension coming through on the Toronto side, but so far in this game, Toronto doing a good job finding the farm that they need while staying active on the map. Took down the tier 1 in the mid. Gonna be headed up towards the tier 1 in the top now. Atos completed on Darkseer. This is pre-11-minute Atos. 5,400 net worth for Big Fat B. Looking to take down Fredberg. Atos gonna be committed as well as the RP. Silence on top. Fredberg, oh, able to get the time lapse off. Still not gonna matter. Overwhelming damage coming through. Holy moly, that's that kill. 13-4. See how Toronto decide to continue this game as they take down the tier 1 towers very early. Have the wagon, but it's going to be a little too early to put any pressure onto the tier 2 tower. See what the buildup is for these U of T supports, and it looks like Wind picks up the Javelin. Make sure you can put in some work with the ult, and gonna head over towards the Orchid. Coming in that next position. Up top, Lich in some trouble, holy moly. Gonna find a couple of hits. Lychee King ends up taking that kill. Mystic Flare providing all the damage they need. University of Toronto not struggling in the damage department at all. Meanwhile, looking for the kills onto red. Evasion gonna be off the mark, and red now gonna be able to pop the Laguna Blade over the top. Still ends up traded out at the end of the day. Nearly gonna be worthwhile, and actually the kill worth significantly more than his own life at the moment. But still, they're gonna lose a little bit more than they can give up at this stage. 3 kills going Toronto's way, looking for the 4th in the Lich. Vacuum gonna be off the mark. With Atos still on cooldown, not gonna chase any further Big Fat B, but continuing to farm the wave behind the tier 2 in the top lane. In the meantime, faces Void Mask of Madness nearly up to the Maelstrom as well. Continuing to farm away. 2-0-6 on the Faceless. Early going. And using that Chrono off cooldown as well to make sure he stays involved and grabs as many kills as he can. Wall gonna be dropped down. Just gonna find Lich. Oh, the Mystic Flare Fredberg, able to get away from the silence and the hook underneath the tier 2 tower. Gonna be a much needed kill for the University of Minnesota. Ends up being just over 800 gold for that kill. Holy moly, RP is available, but not gonna want to use it. The Skewer Pack Pandemonium in some trouble. Red is well caught out by the Atos. Fredberg onto the side, killed off. The hook gonna end up spelling the death of 3 of his teammates, including himself, Pandemonium. It's understandable as well, looking for the Magnus, steps out of position, but ends up dragging his team out of position just because they're already down 10,000 in net worth here 14 minutes in. Nearly 1,000 gold per minute net worth lead difference. Big Fat B working towards a Shiva's Guard as the Veil completed. This isn't even Midas on the Darkseer, which is one of the more common builds that I seem to see when Darkseer gets a very good start in lane, like he did. Oftentimes do see the Midas come out as you want to find the extra levels coming through quickly, but in the mid, Darkseer is more than enough. Shackle somehow latches onto the tree, and Red gonna go down yet again. Holy moly, staying involved, 6-1 and 6. So we're up to 22-6 here, 14 minutes 45 into the game. Now a 12,000 gold lead, University of Toronto running away with this one. Somehow even harder than in game number 1. Mea culpa looking, hunting. Probably not even worth his time at this point, but continuing to chase on towards Day. Day did show, and this time gonna be caught by the time dilation, able to purge it up. The rest of the team is here. Chronosphere dropped off. Borrowed time was available, but we'll find him eventually. Still, Day ends up making a pretty valuable play. Pays, what, 500 gold for his life, but the rest of his team able to get out on the map, able to farm some much needed waves. Just need to make sure you don't die on the back end, and Fredberg, well, he's dancing dangerously close. There's a blink on a Holy Moly, but not gonna find the angle into the trees. So things will settle out now. 23-6 your kill score in this game.
Arms for the dead.
Radiant are scanning.
This series representing the University of Toronto Boundless's Week 2 matchup, rescheduled to the middle of week number 3. Going to be playing their Week 3 matchup tomorrow afternoon, 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Going to be that match. Not going to be cast on stream, unfortunately. Do have to work.
Under attack.
But gonna look to make themselves go up 2-0 in terms of series. Did win their week number 1 matchup. Up game number 1, they did win game number 1 around 30-minute mark. Game number 2 going even further in their favor, so all likelihood gonna go up 2-0 in terms of series, taking wins over Brown, not Brown, excuse me, taking wins over, wow, did I not look up who they beat week 1? Crazy. Taking wins over Conestoga, that's right, we did cast that match, by the way, but wins over Conestoga, and now going to be a win over UMN. Match tomorrow going to be against Columbia. Columbia, of course, are 0-2 on the season as well. So Toronto looking to make it a clean 3-0 in the next couple of days. Columbia with losses to RIT and Brown on the season.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So Toronto so far in the season having an easier time with their matches. Did talk to Hunter CJR after the USF match earlier today. And next week's matchup is going to be this University of Toronto team versus USF. Both teams so far undefeated. So going to be a nice match coming next week. Currently scheduled Wednesday at 7 p.m. Next Wednesday at 7 p.m. We'll let you know if that one changes, and that's going to be our front and center matchup next week. Just look to see the battle of the powerhouse teams for the first time this season. I would certainly put University of Toronto in the top 3. We'll have to see how it shakes out. University of Toronto, Georgia Tech, and USF, I believe, all going to be vying for that top 3 spot, and gonna see the RP dropped out here. But yeah, each of those 3 schools is going to be vying for the top spot, and it's hard to differentiate between those 3 teams without seeing them play each other. Early thinking has Georgia Tech number 1 for me, with USF and Toronto, you know, pretty close seconds, and hard to distinguish between those 2. We'll get a much better picture of it next week. And Georgia Tech as well, I haven't been covering their matches, just one match on the season played from them so far, as they did have the week number 1 bye. We'll have to make sure to check them out this season as well.
Haste.
Radiant are scanning. Dire's top tower is under attack.
I'm not gonna find the Weaver there, Big Fat B. Was hunting. 27-6, 20.5 minutes in. 17,000 net worth lead. This day, again, the entire Toronto team gonna TP back to find this Abaddon. Pesky Abaddon, he will go down. Again, doing his job, finding some space on the map for his team, but Lich in the mid. Looking for the tower, did find the tower. Does go down for his troubles.
Is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
29-6 here. Pudge did pick up the Blink Dagger, working towards a Dagon. I think this is just a bit of frustration coming out from Pandemonium. So UMN, they gotta be feeling like this game is about as rough as a game of Dota can get. See Lich building up the Aghanim's as well. To try and find the kill on to Win, but Win just able to get that focus fire off, finds the free kill. Holy moly now. Able to block out the hook. Pandemonium with the blink across. They're gonna find 1 kill. Holy moly, just gonna TP out. Could have stayed for himself, but TP's home. (31-7), UMN getting their first kill in quite a number of minutes. Still, top 4 net worth heroes all belonging to the University of Toronto. Day inside of the fountain, by the way. It's been his quest to make it in here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Seeing Day down this top side once or twice this game. Now finally figured out what he was doing over here. He's trying to walk into the fountain, get the side quests done. UMN just having a little bit of fun with this game before they do lose out in the end. Mea Culpa with a nice Chrono Spear onto 3, and they're gonna clean house. Just jump forward. Red gonna be the last one taken down. Holy moly's pinging out, guys. Let's end this game. 21k net worth lead, 35-7, 23 minutes in. Want to hit some tier 2 towers. Another kill. Up in the top side while the alt chats come out.
Is under attack.
Team's just having a little bit of fun with this game before giving in to the eventual end. Not much more to be said about this one.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Why can't we be friends?
So just taking a quick peek into the schedule. Looks like tomorrow is going to be a day off. Just gonna make sure I'm not missing any reschedules from previous rounds, but University of Toronto versus Columbia gonna happen at 2:30, but during the daytime gonna be a no-go for me. So our next series is going to be, there's a Sunday at 4:30.
Top tower is under attack.
I think that's it. Sunday at 4:30. And then potentially UBC versus Seneca being rescheduled as well, as I believe that was the intent of that game. Yo man, gonna find another much needed kill here. Wind Ranger. Going in solo, gonna be taken down. 36-8. So that's going to be the plan. We are going to be taking our next cast Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Indiana versus RIT. And that should be a pretty balanced series, actually. Indiana RIT potentially fighting for that bottom half, bottom 4 spot in the playoffs. Going to be a hard one because we saw Brown play today, and Brown proving that they kind of belong in that 4th place spot, and it's going to be theirs to take from, I think. So Indiana RIT, they're going to have to fight amongst each other for that position, but eventually come up against Brown as the, early on favorites.
Are scanning.
Take that series. A little bit of a sleepy end to our night casting, but Toronto will eventually take down the University of Minnesota. Just a matter of time. Couple of kills across the map. As Toronto, can't blame them going the disciplined route. Gonna go ahead, take the Roshan, take the Aegis. Make sure they have the items to go high ground before going up, but with the 31,000 gold lead, I'd imagine it will be just that time. Kleipnir Orchid finished up on Wind as well as the 4th carry is online. No Chronosphere ready, but not going to be needed. RP going to be dropped over. No hooks here, no dismembers here. 45 seconds on the deck for Pandemonium. There's creeps in the mid lane. Show that tower going to be the threat. Will simply be bashed down.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
I don't want to read too far into anything here, but a little bit of worrying signs for me on the UMN side.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
There's no shame in GGing out early against the team that is, just better to this extent. And I think that, this is not really needed. I mean, I understand they're trying to have a little bit of fun with the game, but More just a little bit worried when, you know, half the team is on one page and half the team is on the other. It's not the most fun experience for really anyone involved at that stage. So hopefully I'm reading in a little bit to a problem that doesn't exist, and, you know, you men are having fun with it, but
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
having been on my share of functional and dysfunctional teams, I can say that in a league like NACE, you know, sometimes you beat up teams and sometimes you get beat up on. And having the ability to roll with the punches and, you know, take the L in style is pretty significant ability, you know, stops teams from disbanding, you know. It's hard to get mad, you know, at your friends playing with your friends, and I'd hope that all these, you know, university lineups have that sense of, you know, being friends with the players that they do decide to play with. I mean, we are the epitome of a for fun league here at NACE, not playing for any money. I mean, playing for a little bit of bragging rights, but beyond that, it is definitely just a fun time.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle
So looks
tower
like, barring any additional kills, 46-8. Gonna be your final score. Maybe make it 47-8. Why not? Gonna be your final score. 30 minutes in.
Radiant
University of Toronto gonna take a clean 2-0 series. They're gonna be happy to take that one. They're gonna remain undefeated. Early going, 2 weeks into their season. I guess, I mean, I hate to, like, I don't want to say 3 weeks into their season because that was their second match. So I'm going to call it two rounds into their season. How about University of Toronto, showing why they were so strong last season, only losing to Georgia Tech in the playoffs, coming in a very obvious second last season. And, yeah, proven to be pretty strong. And just kind of to cap off the discussion about, you know, the top 3, top 4 with USF, before we sign off for the night, USF actually coming from the West Coast Division last season, I believe, right? I'm not insane in thinking that. I'm actually going to, because that doesn't sound right. Do I have my old standings up? I don't think so. Thanks. But yeah, USF, I believe, were dragged into the West Coast Division last season. So there is that. I have plenty of old graphics where I had pulled up, so. Oh, they weren't? I'm insane. Oh, it was, yeah, it was East 1 and East 2. That's what it was. That's why I'm a little bit backed up, is we had a pair of 7-team divisions in the East. So ignore what I was saying. They did play in the division against Georgia Tech. They did not play against Toronto last season, and I believe they didn't match up against them at all. But I'd have to go and look through the playoff records of that previous series. So anyway, I digress. Nice 2-0 series from Toronto. You know, pretty clean wins from laning stage onwards. Not too much to break down after that game, and glad that we got to stick around and see it. But a quick series nonetheless, and a pretty sleepy end to our night. Still, make sure you do go back and check out game number 1, or series number 1, I should say. USF versus Brown was a pretty good one to watch, so do go ahead and check that one out. We will be live again Sunday. I did say Indiana versus RIT. That's Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. We will be live. That's going to be our next NACE series coming up. So do make sure you are tuning in for that one. We'll see those two teams square off, with more to come potentially later in the week as the scheduling continues to evolve. So I will keep everybody posted on that one, and do make sure you tune in. So thanks everybody for coming by. Thanks for supporting the NACE League. Thanks for watching these games. It's a lot of fun to do these casts, and I appreciate all of you for coming and watching, and for kind of paying attention to this league, growing this league, and making it worth our time to play these collegiate matches out. So with that, I will sign off. I am Coolhands, twitch.tv/CoolhandsDota. Do make sure you check out the future casts, and I will see you on Sunday. Bye-bye.